What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Honest Tattooer Podcast. My name is John Mesa, and I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Truiano.
Hey, how you doing?
And we got our homie, G-Money, on the couch.
What's up, guys?
And we have two special guests. And without further ado, I'm going to have them introduce themselves. And like as always, let them know what's your name, where you're from, and how long you've been tattooing, and maybe even a little bit of like what kind of tattoos you'd like to do.
I'm Dan Mountain. I've been tattooing 12 years from Westchester, and I do mostly black and gray realism and lettering.
Cool.
Awesome.
So you're up.
Oh no. I'm Jessica Kirchner. I just started tattooing. I've been tattooing like 2 to 3 months, and I've been trying to specialize in black and gray realism.
Cool.
So we had Alex here. I'm stuck right here.
Oh
The baby's stuck.
We had Adam here 2 weeks ago, and he was like, I'm the freshest meat. I'm gonna have to hang out with this.
Do you need help?
Right now
Do you need help? You can take a pause and just fix that real quick. There you go. The little baby orchid.
So Alex was 5 months in. What'd you say? You're 2 months in?
I think 3.
3?
Probably like 2 or 3.
3.
Right.
Yeah.
2-3 months in. Early. I think it's nice to have people that are fresh meat,
yeah,
and some people that are overcooked like me. I'm well done, except Adam's well done.
He's got a lot of life in him.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's been tattooing for 42 years, and you worked with Adam.
Yeah, for like 2 years. Joey got me the job, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So you know the Kaplans. You have history in Westchester.
That's my boys.
I mean, if you've been in Westchester, you know of Big Joe's and you know of the Kaplans. It's kind of legendary place, man.
Yeah.
So how did you become his apprentice?
So I asked a lot of shops. I went through like my whole like original town. I started in Poughkeepsie, and I kept branching out like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And now I'm 40 minutes out, and I got to Dan, and Dan accepted me into where he started tattooing, or not started tattooing, but he started tattooing his own shop.
Yeah.
How long was the time frame from when you started looking for an apprenticeship to when he took you on?
Probably about a year, I would say. It was a lot
Yeah, I
of
remember.
up and downs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why didn't you quit?
It was an emotional
I know.
experience.
Yeah.
I know. You know what? That's a great question.
Yeah.
Why didn't you quit?
Why didn't you quit?
Because I couldn't. I don't know.
Wow.
Oh God, I'm going to cry.
No.
It's okay.
A lot of people give up.
A lot of people give up,
Yeah, a lot of
or
people.
even worse, they're just like, I'm going to order this eBay kit and just go at it. with my
No,
homies
but
at
that's the thing. I
house.
did. My friend ordered me one, and I tried, and I was like, I can't do this on my own. I can't figure this out.
Yeah, I think it's tattooing something that, I've had even clients when I'm tattooing like, maybe I could do this. And you're like, I just laugh. And like inside,
okay,
I'm like, all right, go. Yeah, sure.
I think I told the story once before. My nephew, he was like, I want to try it. So he decided to buy an eBay kit. And when I heard about that, I was like, I can't do that. I can't tell you not to do it because I did it.
Yeah.
Right. But I told him, I was like, let me see what you got. He showed me what he got. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to tell you no, but take all that ink out of there and toss it in the garbage, because you definitely do not want to use this nonsense ink that comes in like this eBay kit.
Yeah.
And that alone scared him enough to return the whole thing. But like, all right, fuck it.
Yeah, like, this sounds scary, dude. I might fuck somebody up, and they're your friends. And I think that's the hardest part about, like when people start and they're just tattooing their friends. It's like, oh man, those are your friends. You're going to see those shitty tats, man, forever. They'll haunt you. 'Cause you'll be like, oh man, I did that to my homie. That sucks. All my first tattoos that I ever did weren't on friends at all. They were just on people that knew me at the shop where I was apprenticing at. And then they were just like, I'll let you do a tattoo on me, and that was it. But none of my friends would let me tattoo them. They're like, nah, when you get good, you can tattoo me, bro.
I've had a couple of those.
Smart.
I was the opposite. I had all the stupid friends like, yeah, whatever, tattoo me. And now I got to look at them. I'm like, Mom,
God damn it.
don't tell me what I did that.
And how did you get started?
No more.
I started apprenticing at a shop in Mount Vernon, and I would say it was a typical apprenticeship back then, like just cleaning tubes, mopping, cleaning up, booking appointments, doing dumb shit. And then after like a year, the guy sold me his machines and he was just like, go figure it out at home. And I was just like, all right. So I posted it on Facebook back then. I was just like, I'll do free tattoos. And all my boys just like,
I'm in.
everybody was in.
So wait, he took you on as an apprentice
Yeah,
and then told you to go figure it out on your own home?
pretty much.
Wow.
That's so weird.
That is weird.
That is weird.
All the old school guys I know are
It's
like
crazy. Everybody
that's
has these unique like apprenticeship like experiences.
Yeah.
Whether how like, you know, these different like challenges or maybe it was kind of lax, but at the end of the day, it's like it's funny to hear everyone's different like experiences.
So this
But
is
you're just like, what? They did what?
so this is my question. What are your expectations of her as your apprentice?
Mm.
What did she sign up for?
To me, like,
Just like don't say it.
I feel like I don't want her apprenticeship to be like my apprenticeship. So like we started out mostly just drawing, doing designs. And once I felt like she put together like a solid fucking design real quick, I made her stencil it, draw it in pencil, solid. I was like, this is crazy. She's a great artist. So then I got her those pen cartridges.
Yeah.
And we started with those. Then she went to fake skin. Now she's tattooing her friends. As far as like what I expect of her to do in the shop, not much. I just want her to get good. I want her to grow, build her clientele. I'm not like scrub the tubes, like do like that kind of shit.
Okay. In turn, this is like when people give apprenticeships, you know, either you're doing it literally because you want to kind of pass on your torch to somebody else. You're like, I wanted somebody else to carry this, you know, my lineage of whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Or, you know, you're looking for like somebody else to come and join you in your shop to like work alongside you, you know, like it's like sometimes like your apprentice becomes your, you know, your coworker,
Yeah.
you know?
That's why I'm surprised that your guy just said, go home and figure it out. Like, I'm surprised that he didn't want you in the shop making him money, right? That seems bizarre.
Yeah, that sounds wild.
Well, he wanted me to like do the free tattoos at home. And then I brought a couple in. The artist Big Gus, I got tattooed by him.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat with him for 6 or 7 hours. He showed me a ton of stuff. And I went home that night and I tattooed my boy. And I did like the Marine Eagle on his chest. And like I brought my friend in the next day. I was like, look what I did. And the owner was like, okay, you can tattoo in the shop.
Okay.
Wild. And then this is what I'm going to get to. It's like sometimes that apprentice can later become your competition because they can just be like, sweet, I learned. I'm going to go open up right down the street.
Yeah. I mean, that's the risk you take, I guess.
Yeah, that happens.
That happens.
It happens.
So it's like a matter of like, that's why I think like, I'm like done with giving people apprenticeships or anything like that. Like if, you know, in that sense, but,
You're a gatekeeper.
I know, right?
How dare you?
Why have you had like bad experiences?
I've had good and bad ones, you know, good and bad ones, but it's a matter of like, it takes so much time and so much effort. And it's not even just like, if I take on an apprentice, everybody that's in here is somewhat giving to this apprentice, you know, like everybody that's in the shop, you know, it takes a village, you know, to raise one.
Yeah, you just
How many
like
people in your shop?
adopt a child.
Right now,
Yeah.
No.
it's just me and Jess. It's a small
okay.
studio.
Right. Cool.
But
Yeah, so
hopefully
it's
we
like
got
a
more.
one-on-one kind of deal.
It's good.
It's just a good environment, you know, but like when you're in a big shop and you have a lot of people, I feel like it changes the dynamic of that. And I think that it's a healthy way just because then that apprentice can see so many different approaches to solving problems and they can grab a little bit from everybody and eventually come up with like their little formula that works best.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of want that for Jess. Like, she knows a ton of tattoo artists.
Yeah.
And I always tell her, like, ask everybody everything. Like, I don't have an ego about, like, do it this way. Like, I might be explaining something wrong or, like, not the way that she's going to understand it.
Yeah.
So I want her to learn from everybody that she knows. But at the same time, like, I want her in the shop so I can see what she's doing, critique it, make sure she's doing things the right way.
Yeah. If you remember a few weeks back, we had Ed from Tattoo Armor on the podcast, and he was able to hook us up with a discount code for our followers. So Tattoo Armor is literally the best way to wrap your client. I've been using it. Matt's been using it, and it's just awesome. There's no mess, there's no glue, and it's just super comfortable. I hope you can try it for yourself and just go on to Tattoo Armor and use the code Honest Tattooer for 20% off your order. For people that don't know, give the breakdown on how we met, Jess.
Yeah. So Jess came to me, what did we say, 2019?
Yeah, for my back.
Yeah. I posted an image of a design on like a stock model. And I was like, hey, I want to do this back piece. Anybody who's interested, hit me up. Jess hit me up. She was like, oh, I love that. She's like, but I got something on my back already. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it was a moth.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. Don't worry about it. I'll redraw something. We gave her a really cool back piece. And then that turned into a really cool chest piece and her throat and everything. We've been working for a while. Yeah, it's been fun. We took first place, right? For your chest piece.
Yeah, last year.
At Hudson Valley, which we're going to be at again this year, Hudson Valley Tattoo Convention in April, 5, 6, 7, something
Yeah,
like that.
5, 6, 7.
Are you guys going to be there?
I think just visiting.
Yeah.
But not like in it.
Cool.
Yeah, guys. So if you are anywhere in the New York area, make sure that you come out to the Hudson Valley Tattoo Show. It's a freaking awesome convention.
That's a great show.
It's 4, 5, 6 of April. And we'll be out there, me, Gabe, Matt, Heather from the shop, and we'll have prints, some merch, and we'll be doing some tats.
We're also going to be in the booth with ink maps.
Yeah, and we'll be in the booth with ink maps. So stop in, say hi, and we look forward to seeing you guys there. And we might be doing a little live show.
Oh, we're definitely doing a live show.
Absolutely. Yeah, we will be filming at the convention for sure.
Yeah, so stop by, say hello, back to business. So where do you see your shop growing from now? Because I feel like now you have one person. Do you want to get more artists in your shop?
I'm fucking trying, bro. I'm trying real hard, but I want to get the right people. I don't want to get just anybody. And I feel like Jess was, her art, like when I saw it, I was like, she's a solid artist and I can make her a solid tattooer. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken her as an apprentice.
Yeah. Where's your shop located?
In Mayapack,
Okay.
it's upstate.
It's upstate. Is it like in a, I feel like I've driven by Mayapack. It's a small town. It's a small town. How do you go about growing your business in a small town?
I'm putting out a lot of ads, trying to talk to the landlord about putting up a sign because right now it's just a private studio.
Okay.
Little things like that, just putting cards in businesses. I've been going on Instagram and like going to other businesses in the area and just following their followers because it's like I know that those people are from the area.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a cold call. Like it's like, they're in the area. Maybe they like tattoos. So it's like saying what's up.
Yes.
How long is your shop in there?
About a year now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where were you before that?
I was in Hard Knocks in Yonkers.
Oh, you made a big jump.
Yeah.
It's like starting all over again with new clientele and everything.
Absolutely.
Most of my clients are still from Lower Westchester and the Bronx.
And they make a trip up there?
Yeah.
Was it like an hour?
Probably like 45 minutes from
that's it?
Yonkers, maybe an hour from the Bronx.
Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah, I live in Yonkers as well, not too far from that Hard Knock shop. Yeah. At that stage, have you started doing like a mailing list for like the people that you've already tattooed at your shop and things like that?
I haven't yet, but I was watching the Ink Lake video and they gave me some ideas. So I'm going to try to, like I have everybody's email on the waivers.
Yes.
I'm one of those people that do them on paper still, but I have everybody's email.
Wait.
I knew it was coming.
No, that's fine, man. Bro. I like paper shit.
But I got everybody's email, so I'll figure it out.
Yeah, paper is great for the legal reasons, but the reason to have it in a digital form is for the speed in which you'll be able to convert all of those names and contact information into a mailing list. It's going to allow you to then reach out to, something. If you've been there for a year and you've tattooed, 100 people and you send a message, send an email to all those 100 people like, hey man, I'm going to give $100 off to 5 of your friends. And if 5 of your friends come, I'll give you a discount.
Yeah.
Even something little like that, you're going to start generating, then building your network based on the people that you already know. And especially if you haven't seen them in a while, it's like an opportunity for you to get them back into like, your chair and stuff like that. But I feel like that's, that's the way to really streamline, I feel like, those things. And I feel like for people in smaller towns, like, try to find your town's Facebook group.
Okay.
Because older people use Facebook hard. They're on there, man.
Yeah.
They're on there. So don't be afraid to go on Facebook. Try to find your town's Facebook groups where people go and chat about whatever's going on in the town, and throw in something like that where you're like, hey guys, I got this business and come see me. I'll hook you up. And you can start spreading the word to, like, just get more people in your chair.
You got to pay attention to the rules of those Facebook group though. Cause a lot of those, they have these no advertising rules, or like you can only advertise on certain days of the week. And I've seen it where people in like the town group or the neighborhood group, they'll advertise on a Thursday when you're only allowed to advertise on a Friday, and they'll kick you out of the group.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gatekeeping Facebook.
Gatekeeping Facebook, man. But, I feel like each one is going to have his own thing. But even if you're watching the show and, you're in a smaller town, and it's a way to start connecting with people from your town, other than just absolutely physically going into businesses, connecting with other business owners, and see how you can form some synergy, either doing local events and just promoting yourself. Because now you got to feed her. That's always like the hardest part of when you have a shop. And it's like, okay, now I have to make myself busy, and I got to figure out a way make the other artists busy in that shop.
Yeah.
I've been pulling a lot of my people though.
You've been busy.
Yeah.
I tell you all the time, I'm super impressed with what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's crazy to be, did you say 3 months in?
Yeah.
The quality of the work and the amount that you're putting out there is really impressive. I am proud.
There you go. That's a 4-second loud. How have you gotten yourself busy? And it's such a short period of time.
People, I've just been drawing for like my whole life. So they just see that, and they're just trusting in me and my drawing ability. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're like super supportive, and it's awesome. People drive like an hour away just to get like an apprentice tattoo. And it's like, what?
Damn.
Yeah.
And how are you charging nowadays?
Now it's just by piece because I'm so slow. Like I'm not at that speed yet. So it's just by piece.
That's good. I think that's super important at the very beginning. You just charge by the piece and take your time on each one, because it doesn't matter how fast you did it. It's how good it looks at the end.
Yeah.
The end product's the most important part,
Yeah, correct.
I saw a post by like John Nelson, actually. Is it John? No, that's not John Nelson. Why do I always say John Nelson?
I think that's his name.
It is John Nelson?
The guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just that there's a filmmaker called John Nelson as well. So I'm thinking I'm getting it mixed up. But he was talking about how, how nerve-wracking those first tattoos that you do are, and how nervous and how much you're like, when it's coming, you're like planning days beforehand of like, oh man, I gotta fucking do that tattoo like on Tuesday, and it's like Sunday.
Yeah. And what's worse about that is that Tuesday comes, you do the tattoo, and this is my experience.
Yeah.
And then for like the next 5 days, you're like, oh man, I fucked
Yeah, zooming in.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I crushed that. That was bad.
What was the first tattoo that you did?
It was, as an apprentice, it was eye candy. It was like a little eye and like a candy shaped thing. It was cute. It was on my friend Tom.
Nice.
I had no idea how it was going to come out though. And I was like actually surprised. I was like, it's kind of okay.
You allowed her to go like full on to start shading and doing pretty much good tattoos. Like you weren't doing like little dinky things you would expected an apprentice to do.
Yeah, he was pretty open about like what I could do. He was just like, pick a design that you think. I kind of like had a bigger, like I always try to do bigger things and I should probably stop. But I was going to do a coffin one and he was like, that's probably too big. It's going to be a couple sessions for your first one. So I went with eye candy. But he really doesn't give me any like boundaries. Yes. There you go.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
The guy who taught me was kind of similar. He would be like, all right, pick a design, but it would normally be a very simple piece of Flash. And then I would do it, and just my like artistic brain would be like, I mean, this is cool, but I know it could be so much better. And he'd be like, all right, so fix it up, do whatever you want after that. Like after the line work was in there. So he would allow me to then like shade it more realistic. But there was no way that he just let me be like, oh, do this realism piece right away.
What did you want to start with when you first started? Like what kind of style?
I didn't. I mean, I guess like more like graffiti style, new school kind of stuff.
Okay.
But really, like I was doing like Cherry Creek Flash, which was pretty lame and simple.
Man, Cherokee was sick.
If you want to have something like really rendered and popping off the skin.
But that's probably why your lines are so crispy.
Why? Because
you just
Cherry Creek.
Just Cherry Creek?
Cherry Creek
know.
pushed you.
Yeah.
those lines
Got
though.
that Cherry Creek training. Yeah, man.
Man, I wanted to do like black and gray realism and portraits. And then I did a couple. I'm like, this sucks. Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
Like
man.
it's the pace and that you work when you do that is just such a slow kind of pace to build those grays that I'm like, this is fun to do sometimes, but I don't think I want to do this every day.
Yeah.
Even though I do enjoy doing portraits every now and then, but I don't know if I could do that on a daily basis.
I don't enjoy doing that at all. I like, if I could stylize it, cool. But to build up all those gray tones like that, I don't know how you do it.
Oh man, I wouldn't mind.
You enjoy that?
I wouldn't mind
Doing
like
portraits every day?
though, but like keeping it simple with the portraits, not like I want to turn my grandma into like half a zombie or something. Be like, no, it's just like nice, perfect lighting, classic photo. Like I think that's actually kind of fun.
I
Like,
saw
good
that
photo.
Brandon Herrera did a zombie portrait of like
Oh, shit.
someone's like
Like a
daughter.
baby.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like,
for a
that's so
baby?
cool though.
Man, for a bit, I feel like maybe like 2008, 2000, maybe more than that, maybe 2010. Everybody wanted like their whoever with the Day of the Dead makeup on their face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did
Oh
a
my
ton of those
goodness.
God damn, that was so
Oh,
hot, dude.
Yeah, that was popular. My goodness.
Who was the painter that it was Sylvia G? Everybody was ripping her off.
Yeah.
I got one of her paintings on my inner arm.
There you go.
See? That shit was so hot, bro. That shit was hot. Sounded like hotcakes.
Yo, I want a portrait of my wife, but like Day of the Dead girl.
Yeah,
Oh, man, I
dude.
remember that. Like, so good.
Oh man, I did a couple of like kids' portraits with Day of the Dead
Yeah,
makeup,
man.
a couple of wives.
I've covered a portrait making it like a Day of the Dead.
Oh
So
shit!
I guess it really wasn't a cover up, but it was not
You
looking
put
like
makeup on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
What tattoos did you do this week?
What did I do this week? I did an angel today. I normally do one a day,
Yeah.
so
Big pieces?
sort of. If it's not big, it's super detailed.
Okay.
It's usually black and gray stuff. Everything today and yesterday was black and gray.
Are you generally booked out every day?
Yeah, I'm booked maybe like 2 months. Doing like May right now.
Do you guys get walk-ins at your place?
Sometimes. It's normally like I put out my cell phone. So like I'll get someone that'll call last minute, come through. But it's kind of not often. I've been trying to get more stuff for her to do. Like whenever someone asks for a walk-in, I'm like, you want Jess to do it? She could do it this week. But it's not enough. It's like a couple a week.
I think it's just the time right now. I don't know if walk-ins are a thing that often. I mean, think about it. We're in New York City in the Lower East Side. People are walking around. It's not like
Tons of people
it's not
walking
like
around.
there's a quiet day where there's no one around.
Right.
Yesterday was kind of busy actually with walk-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday was kind of busy with walk-ins. There's always going to be, people that want like, I want a letter on the side of my finger,
Right.
Are there any places where you won't tattoo yet
Me?
on the body?
Someone asked me to fix like a tattoo that they did on themselves on their neck. And I asked Dan, like, because it would have been better if I like did something to help them, but
Right.
it's just not a good spot. Dan told me that it's not. And then I remember you saying that you hated the
Oh, I
neck
hated it,
too.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like super stretchy or something.
It's stretchy. It's hard to reach. Like even though you're right there, just
it's hard to
if you've got
like
big hands.
Yeah, it's hard to like grasp a pivot.
Yeah,
you know, with your palm to really like secure yourself somewhere because it's just so, you know, it's concave almost. It's really hard and it's soft sometimes.
Especially
it's hard.
Like you're so tiny too. So like the distance between your chin and your collarbone is so small. So like if you got a big hand to try to get in there, it's not easy.
I don't mind tattooing a neck as long as it's on the side where my right hand could be on their back.
Yeah,
If it's-
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
That makes a huge difference, you know, when you're tattooing someone's neck. If it's like on, so that way you avoid that. You don't have to be like around the chin, you know. If it's the other way, oh man, it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
the face is always in the way, and then they're always like, "Stop looking! You're not gonna see." What are you looking over here for? They want to look at your face. You're like, stop! Just stop looking at me,
bro.
Put some glasses on. Don't make eye contact.
I had a guy a long time ago. I was tattooing the upper part of his shoulder, and he had a hat on, and he kept looking down, trying to see his tattoo, and his hat would keep hitting my machine.
Oh my god!
So at one point, I was just like, "Poop," and I just knocked his hat off of the machine. I was like, "Bro, stop."
So I made a post today about using noise and using noise or grain, depending on whatever your app decides to call it that you're using to edit your photos on your tattoos. So if you don't know what that means, is when you doom zoom, which is when you go and you zoom into that photo, you see a certain amount of graininess to the image. And it's not necessarily altering the tattoo, but it is altering the image to a certain extent where it gives the full, there's no difference between skin and tattoo. Like when you see a tattoo, you clearly see a difference between like, oh, that's untattooed skin, that's tattooed skin. When you put this like grain all over the full image, it kind of just gives the full kind of like skin, like the full texture. So it takes away all of the texture of the actual tattoo itself. And then it makes it look smoother and it just kind of just softens it. And from some of the comments, you know, it was a little bit, you know, some people think it's nothing. Some people do like, yeah, I completely understand what you mean. And I was waiting for somebody to say something about it. So how do you guys feel about it?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really give a fuck what people do with their photos. Like everybody's doing crazy shit nowadays. Everybody's filtering everything. Like no matter what you do, like the most famous artists are filtering everything, desaturating to make it look like softer, taking out the redness. It's so much like it's hard to compete with that because it's like you see your photos and it's like, oh, like my photo came out sick. And then it's like you look at someone who has like 1 million followers and it's like, damn, like that looks crazy. But then you zoom in and it's like, that's
it looks
not real.
crazy.
That's
That
not
ain't real.
So I don't know. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you, I guess.
But that's kind of like that's the point of the conversation to me. As like I use, you know, CPL Filter when I take pictures of my tattoos because it helps reduce the glare. You can see, you know, the colors a little bit truer and things like that. And like me and Matt were talking about it, and it does increase the contrast overall of the blacks and of the tattoo. But it's not making my blends look smoother. It's not making my whip shades look softer or anything like that. It literally just makes whatever it's there be more visible. Sometimes, and which I've said it before, man, sometimes I've reached a point where I'm like, put it on and I'm like, oh shit, look at that little holiday right there. And then I'm like, all right, wait, we got to go back in, dude. They're like, what? I thought I was done. I'm like, no, you're not. Sit back down. I'm going to saturate that thing way more. So there's like
some more black in there.
Yeah, that needs more black, or that needs more yellow, or that needs whatever color, you know, something that I couldn't see when the tattoo was still like bleeding or too red and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then after I get to see it with like the CPL filter, I'm like, I can see even more of the imperfections that were, you know, there of like just saturation most of the time. But I don't know. My point of making that post today is just because I think that there's it's just a little bit disingenuous, man. It's like, you know, like there's tattoos and then there's art. And I think like tattoos can be art, but they're mainly tattoos. And I think that they should be displayed as tattoos, because working so much on like presentation sometimes, then it just doesn't look like the real thing anymore. It just looks like a really cool Instagram post or a really cool photo. And those are the ones that are crushing on Instagram, you know, because they're making really cool posts. But I feel like it's getting away from just displaying the tattoo in its true form.
But then where's the line? Like,
I mean, there is no line. The line is what you can sleep with at night. What can you live with, you know?
like I use the lens, and like sometimes I'll look at my photos and then like I look at the tattoo and I'm like, I didn't saturate it as much as it looks like in this photo.
Yeah.
And I'll go back into it. But like in the photo, it looks sick and it looks super black, but it's not real. So like even just using little things like that, or like if you use like Instagram filters and like you use the shadows to make it look darker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
There's always, it all depends. I mean, like I think there's a, somebody in the comments, oh man, I think his name, blanked out on this guy's name. But he said that even if you use a CPL filter, like toning down the effect, just like maybe 5%, will give you a more realistic version of what you're seeing, you know, instead of just having something that looks so overly compensated and so crazy that it's like out of control. Even things like, there's a huge difference between using the CPL filter and just like a natural kind of lighting scenario than when you go into a pitch black room and there's absolutely no lights at all.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
It makes a huge, that's when you get that extreme effect where it's like, whoa, that thing is fucking mind blowing. The blacks look like they're fucking, you know, a black hole dark, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's over the top. And I don't think you need to do that at all. I think that's just, that's also disingenuous. It's just like, it's not sincere. It's like, come on, man, just show me a cool tattoo. If the tattoo's cool, we're all going to look at it and be like, oh, it's fucking rad, dude. It doesn't need to be over the top.
I think it does. I think we're at a point right now where Instagram users want that like over the top presentation, or else you're just going to get passed by. So like that guy, what's his name? Brando Shizia or something like
Brando
that?
Chiesa.
Yeah, Brando Chiesa.
Yeah.
Like his presentation is awesome, but it's over the top. But he has a shit ton of followers because it's cool.
He also does something that's very smart. He knows how to, like, his backgrounds are usually based off of the image that you're looking at.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's totally different than I think that of like, I don't know, just fucking.
I mean, the images themselves look pretty doctored up too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the skin tones, everybody
like
tattoos
everything's
are the
like
same.
super pink and
Yeah.
right. But it works.
It works.
Yeah.
Keeps him busy.
Yeah.
He's tattooing like a motherfucker. He's a really nice guy too. I've met this guy. He's really, really nice.
Yeah. I don't know.
And his tattoos actually look phenomenal in person.
Yeah. So here's the thing too. He posts healed versions of those tattoos.
Yes.
Which is important. And not, you know, they're just regular photos in like he's
normal
got, like,
photos.
Yeah, they're not all edited and I don't know, had that presentation to him.
The other day I showed you that one tattoo where like the person did a super realistic color portrait and it was half a photo and half tattoo.
Yeah.
But if I looked at it quickly, I just think it's like, look at this incredible fucking tattoo. That shit looks realistic. Unless you like look down and you're like, oh shit, it is a photo. There, I would have known that, there was like a photo kind of doctored in there.
Yeah. Does that work though? Did you see like what the engagement was like on that?
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who posted that?
I mean, a big tattoo page.
Okay.
Just some big tattoo page. I don't know.
I think there's a difference between like using filters to change the lighting and like there's other people that just straight up Photoshop. Like they'll use like the smudge to make everything look softer and like they'll
blurring
add,
edges.
Yeah, like white highlights, like making the whites look ridiculously unrealistic white. Like,
yeah.
That's when it's like
dropping highlights on Procreate, like
just redrawing your lines.
Exactly.
Yes.
We've all seen that. Who was the guy that keeps getting called out? Elliot Kochek, I think his name is.
Yes.
Because his tattoos are phenomenal, but sometimes they look a little too crispy, too dark. right? You ever see them?
Yes, because they're it's kind of like what we were talking about. It's he puts tons of black into his tattoos and then tons of white. And then he takes all of his photos in like a
Dark room.
pitch black room with like a really strong light and filter, which just makes it look incredible. It's just like,
And you know what he does too is like I don't know if he does it on purpose or just the way that the designs land, but like the black kind of goes around the edges so that it looks like the tattoo is just like floating in space, right?
Okay.
It's not on a body.
yeah.
I think that's what people are like complaining about.
Okay.
Okay.
Because it doesn't look like a tattoo at that point. Because the black is so black in a black room, so you don't see like the edges of the body part now.
Yeah. You just see image just floating. And I think that's where I think like the whole idea of like a tattoo's on a body, it should look cool on a body. But then there's, the camp of like, well, I'm an artist, man. I came here to do my art.
People are still complaining about your post about that.
Sick. I love it.
John said a couple of weeks ago, he's like, you're a tattooer first, not an artist, or something along those lines.
Yeah. You're a tattoo artist, the tattoo comes first,
You're not an artist who does tattoos, right?
Exactly. Very few
weeks ago, he put that up.
If
And
people
people are
still
still, what?
No way.
I got into tattooing because I'm an artist.
Oh man, somebody commented on the post that I made today. You're annoying, and I just give him a little red heart. Thanks.
Blasphemy.
Thanks for your comment and boosting my engagement.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
if I annoyed you, that worked.
All right. Oh, I had seen that, by the way. I was going to ask you about that. I was like, were they telling you like, you're so annoying? Like, like when a girl tells you you're so annoying. Or was it you're so annoying, I hate you?
I don't know. I don't know, but I gave him a little heart anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did he tell you he was unfollowing you?
No, she did not tell me she was unfollowing.
I got that today. Like, I hate your post. I'm unfollowing you. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I'm slamming the door. Right? Like, are there any like challenges that you've like come across
I feel like
during your apprenticeship?
a lot of it is like positioning. I don't know, like positioning, positioning like the armrest in the right spot and like positioning the person in the right spot. And then like in the end, positioning yourself in the right spot.
Yeah.
Because I'm always hunched over like this and like my back hurts and I'm like, why did I do this? And I feel like I could have done better if I like planned better.
You know what's crazy? You know what helps so much?
Mm.
Just you stretching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The more you learn to stretch your body, the easier you can learn how to position somebody else's body. And you're like, oh, wow, if I go like this, I can really stretch this body part right there. So the next time you're tattooing the back of an arm and you're putting them in a certain position, like, and they put their arm like this, and you're like, nah, that ain't going to work. I know that to stretch that back of the arm, I go like this and I get a good stretch. And you're like, you're going to lay down. I'm going to put your arm like this and I'm going to crank you in that position. And you're like, and then it goes by that quick. There's so many things that I've learned from like when I was at that kind of early stages where I had a tattooer that's been doing it for like 10 years longer than me. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to do, and they see me like crunch and trying to like tattoo like sideways like an idiot. And then they're like, no, dude, what are you doing? Just like move them and put it in a position where you're comfortable and they're in the best position for you to tattoo them.
Yeah.
But I think like that's where your mentor comes in. So they'll like catch you doing something. They'll laugh for a little bit, let you struggle. And then we're like, what are you doing?
He comes into the room and he's like, mm-mm. And I'm like, oh no.
I always try to tell her like whatever makes that area of the skin the tightest.
Yes.
Like wherever it is, like if it's on your thigh, like you want them bending their knee to stretch that top of the thigh area.
Right.
Or like wherever it is, you just want the skin because you're gonna have to stretch it anyway, but you want it tight regardless.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people underestimate the value of a good stretch. Man, you can get such crisper lines. Everything just goes faster. You can saturate faster. If the skin is nice and taut, it just works.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into tattooing that people really don't think about. That's just like a side of just application of tattooing.
Like always working.
Yeah.
24/7, like always on your phone trying to get people. Yeah.
it's
I
just
wasn't used to that.
So much
Until
stuff
now.
going on. And then also like wall tattooing, like positioning where we were talking about. like positioning of the client, positioning of the tattoo artist,
Positioning of your light.
yeah,
dude.
positioning of your light, positioning of your hand, angles, you know, like different angles of how you're shading, like pushing or pulling, like so many different aspects, so many different variables that go into that. You know, you eventually learn as you gain experience and you tattoo a lot more people, but it's something that definitely like comes with time, right?
I've caught myself
And-
a couple of times where I know that I should position the client somewhere else for me to work in this spot. But then I'm like, I only need to use this. I only need to get to this spot for a couple of minutes.
2 minutes.
I'm not going to reposition everybody just for this. So like I'll wind up tattooing upside down for a couple of minutes. But then because it's so much harder and it doesn't work, like that 2 minutes that I think it's going to be winds up being like a half hour like that. I'm like, fuck, I should just move.
I should have just moved them.
Yeah.
I used to yell at Big all the time when he would do tattoos on people because I'd be like, I see him and he's literally underneath his light. The light's like, it's like behind his head. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Just move it a little bit to the left. That's it, man. You know, like you get a full light.
Oh man, so funny.
I think line work's been a thing too. And I feel like I like when I have to do like bold lines, I like using a coil and she likes the rotaries. So like I'm having a hard time explaining like the differences.
Yeah. What machine are you using right now?
It's a Cheyenne Nova Unlimited.
That's the best. I love that thing. I was showing Truiano. I was like, check this out today.
Wait, what stroke do you
Yeah, I
have?
showed him. I was like, which stroke? I use both a 3.5 and a 4 and a 5.0.
I only have the 3.5.
That's what, honestly, that's all you really need.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, the 5.0 will make your life easier in certain areas. And that's why I have it there. If I find like a certain part of the body where the skin is a little bit more spongy or a little bit, you know, tougher, then I'll switch to the 5. But I push like a 11 round loose with a 3.5 with no problem. Like, just,
Like full blast though, right?
how it's running?
Yeah.
Not necessarily, actually. Sometimes I'm running it slower, even
Okay.
slower,
going
and just
slower?
burying it more. A little bit more push in it.
I think that's why you and I differ so much. I hate burying the tube like that, especially with lining.
Yeah.
I want to be able to work off the tip, and you can't with that machine.
Not always, you know, and depending on with the 5.0, definitely you always want to be on the tip. But with the 3.5, yeah, you definitely want to like, if I'm big grouping, you're going to bury it a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't like to do that.
You're like, I don't like that.
I don't like that. I guess it works if like a design like you were doing today where everything was open,
Everything's open and bold.
but if you got more of an intricate design with a lot of lines close together, you definitely don't want to bury the tube.
No,
least
you're,
I don't.
you're
Yeah.
going to get more
Yeah,
ink everywhere, all that stuff. Yeah,
too
for
messy.
sure.
Too messy. What are you lining with?
I have a Mickey Sharps and a Norm liner.
I got rid of my Mickey Sharps not that long ago. Never used it.
Damn,
I used it for like
really?
the first 2 or 3 years, and then it just sat.
it just sat
I got
there.
rid of it. Yeah.
Me and Gabe
I
were
had the
talking
micro
about that
dial.
just yesterday. I was like, damn, bro, Mickey Sharps was like getting a Cadillac back in the day, bro.
Yeah.
The first apprenticeship that I had, one of the guys at the shop, he was using a T dial, and I was asking him like what kind of machines I should get, and I was kind of hoping he would say, you know, you should get a Mickey Sharp. These are really good, and he was like, no, you shouldn't get this. These are gonna fuck everybody up. Like you're not good enough for this machine yet. You got to get something and like build yourself up to a Mickey Sharps. And at the time, I was like, okay, like I don't know anything. I'll just listen to you. But now looking back at hearing what that guy was saying, like it's such bullshit.
It didn't make sense.
No.
It's like, I understand what he kind of meant, you know, almost like, it's like you don't give somebody a race car because if they don't know how to drive, they're going to just crash into a wall.
But do you think that a Mickey Sharp's like a race car?
No.
That's my point.
You know what's like a race car? A Dan Kubin is like a race car.
Yes.
That's like a race car.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing with that, you will hurt somebody. You're going to chew holes.
Back in the day was different though.
My micro dial, I had to punch up to like 12 volts to pull like
That
a
ran
3-liner.
high. Yeah,
Pull
right.
like a 3-liner. Yeah.
All I can, it's just sound. Wee.
Yeah.
Yeah. It needed to sound like that.
Those were the first machines that I like learned how to like tune and modify.
Hear it.
Yeah, and just like that's how I learned about like machine stuff, was through my first pair of Mickey Sharps.
Yeah.
And deconstructing them, rebuilding them, changing on the springs, seeing how different springs like made the armature bar here like hit different and like impact, like everything was like, I kind of like nerded out on that for a little while.
You don't want to learn all that stuff?
I don't know. It seems a little bit extra, but
It is. I think it's good to know, though.
yeah.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Me?
Yeah, like just
Shit.
the idea of learning tattoo equipment, even if you don't plan on using it.
It's kind of how I feel about like algebra, bro. In high school, like I've never used it ever again.
So why bother learning
Exactly.
it? Okay.
I used it in school.
Hey, man.
I got my grades, and I've never used it ever again.
Yeah, you got to be into it. I mean,
You got to be into it.
yeah, I mean, what you're saying makes perfect sense.
It
but,
does,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like, I'm gonna shove this tattoo machine history down your throat. whether you like it or not.
But if you ever, I think if you're ever considering becoming a machine builder or anything of the sort, whether it is, a rotary machine or a coil machine, like you should definitely learn all about the history, because then you'll figure out how a machine actually works and what puts it in really, what makes it work and what makes a good machine run effectively. But
I think across the board, just people who use any kind of tool back, I don't know, 50 years ago, like you learned not only how to use the tool, but how to repair it.
yes,
That's not a thing anymore.
that's not a thing.
No.
You can have one on Amazon, send it to you.
Yeah, if it breaks, just buy another one.
You're going to get one tomorrow, dude.
Yeah,
I talked to Eddington about that. I was saying to him how like nowadays newer tattooers like, don't use coils, never use them. And like, I was like, what the fuck is that about? And I was like, back when I started tattooing, like I had to like learn how to use the machines, learn how to clean the tubes, do like all that stuff. And he kind of put me in my place. And he was like, yeah, but when I started apprenticing, I was making needles, I was mixing inks. You didn't learn any of that shit.
Yeah.
So every generation has like a different set of standards for what they need to learn.
it just gets easier, right? Like it gets easier. There's less and less shit to do. Like the needles, like everything's already pre-made. Like you can order all of these things. So it does get easier as things progress for like the newer generation of tattooers that come into it.
Yeah, and some people think like we're salty about it. And I'm like, I'm not salty at all. I think it's great, man.
Yeah.
I love being able to order like 30 shades of red from fucking Interlink, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's good. Like, I don't know. I'd rather have that than not have the options. I think options are a good thing.
Yeah.
I think people confuse us being salty with just entertained by it. Like, how long has Hazel been tattooing? Only a couple of years, right?
I think like 5.
A couple of months ago, she was taking a trip down to Unimax. She was like, does anybody need anything? I was like, yeah, can you get me a bag of grommets? And she was like, what?
What?
Grommets. Like, what's that?
Like,
What's a grommet?
Oh,
She was legit
man.
had no idea what a grommet was.
And to us, it's like, what do you mean, what are grommet? Okay, they explain what grommet.
But now I feel bad. Do you know what a grommet is?
I don't know what it
Okay.
You see what I mean?
So with a coil machine on the needle bar, you have to put a rubber grommet in the eye loop to put it on the armature bar.
Okay.
And that kind of stabilized the needle. There you go.
Or name.
I used to use paper towels.
Yeah, I don't like that method.
I like paper towels.
I never felt like it was consistent.
Well, it's not. It's not consistent unless, it's all about,
Yeah.
you have to learn how to cut your paper towel exactly the same way each
Every
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the number of folds it was.
Exactly. Like it's the same. It's just consistency, but it's up to you instead of up to the grommet.
Yeah. I only did that on a pinch. That's probably why I was never consistent, because I didn't do it.
You didn't do it all the time. That's why I think that's one of the things about when you first start out as an apprentice and you're setting up your station, learn to follow the same exact process every time and do it exactly the same way. If you take something from this, just listen to this. Repeating that same order every time, putting your ink caps on the same place, doing all of that consistency will translate to having your setup be consistently perfect. I think like there's even people nowadays that like, especially people that do things that are in like color realism. they'll have a palette that they'll pour out all of the same colors each time, even if it's not in that tattoo. It helps them be more effective and be more consistent with their work. And I think that's a good way to approach things. Just the level of consistency, I feel like translates even from your setup to everything that you do. Just try to do it the same way every time.
I appreciate that. I am not that way at all. I could care less how my station looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just throw shit on there and then wherever it lands, it lands.
Like wherever it lands. But that's because you're just so comfortable.
Yeah.
But I think at the very beginning, I think having that order.
Whenever we had anybody like Vega, or if I had an apprentice at the other shop that was setting up stations, they would ask me, how do you want it? I was like, I don't care. Do it like how you did the other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm adaptable. I think that's more important than anything else, to be honest with you.
To be adaptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's because you've been tattooing for a long time and you're very comfortable at doing what you do. But in the very beginning, man, any little changes can just be like, just added stress for no reason.
Yeah. You think so?
I think so. I mean, also there's people that get stressed out over the smallest things.
Yeah. I guess you got to do what makes you work more efficient.
Any pranks or hazing? Nothing.
I'm super easy.
He's been
on her.
nice to me.
What, all right, let me ask you this. Do you think you would be just as easy if like some big bearded guy came in asking for an apprenticeship?
Before she was with me, I had a guy working with me, and I think I was too hard on him.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I wasn't, but I think to him, I was.
Is that why he's not with you anymore?
Gotcha.
Did he leave crying one day?
No. I think it was my fault. Like, I pushed him away because he was kind of not where I wanted him to be
And
after
you know what?
a long amount of time.
The tattoo industry thanks you for that. Because we don't need people like that, dude. We don't need people that will get scared away or like over some shit. Like, come on, man.
Well, the question is, where is he now?
I have no idea. He deleted his Instagram.
Oh, you really scared him away.
He's gone.
I feel partially at fault though, because I feel like I worked too hard to the point where like the bar was set too high.
No such
So
thing.
like, I don't know.
Definitely not.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
Man, I just feel like people don't work hard enough.
Right.
It's a bummer.
We'll be working harder.
Because in a time where things are so much easier, people just don't work harder. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have so much more opportunity. There's so much more information. Social media is fucking free, man. It's a free tool for you to promote yourself and get clients. And people are like, I don't want to spend any time on that. I don't want to do it. It's like more work. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, it is.
So what do you rather do? Just work on making 4 posts today? Or would you rather just sit at a shop for 12 hours like I had to do it before like there was any Instagram or anything? You know, because I just had to sit there hoping somebody showed up through the door.
Yep.
I think that's why I'm so easy on Jess, because like she'll come in early, she'll clean, she'll take the garbage out, like she'll set up my station before I get there. Like she's on point with everything.
That's awesome.
So like I don't need to be like a dick.
That's
Like,
great.
That's great.
All of the shop duties that she does for the shop, does she get paid for that?
No. She gets paid by learning.
See that?
You see that?
You see that?
Like, what? What? Are you supposed to pay your bills?
You know, I was thinking about making a post about this, but maybe we can just talk about it. It's not really much to talk about. It was going to be something that I was going to ask the commenters about. So you come in, you take out the trash, you sweep the floors, maybe set up a
Swiffer.
station.
Yeah.
And then that's it, right? Like what else do you do in shop duty wise?
I think that's it. And then like checking if anything needs to be like restocked or reordered.
Okay. So
Checking inventory.
Yeah.
out of you were there 8 hours a day, probably ish.
Typically, yeah.
What does that take? Maybe an hour to do all that stuff?
Yeah. But
Okay.
I would stay there and I'd draw the rest of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So people who are complaining that, oh, how could I work 8 hours a day and not get paid for it? I need to make a living. you're only working an hour out of the day.
Yeah.
The rest of the day, you're sitting there drawing,
Yeah, a lot of it is just-
watching somebody else work. Like, why would somebody pay you a living wage for an hour's worth of work?
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense.
For you to work on yourself.
Yeah. But not even that. Like, you're literally, you just said you're sitting there, you're drawing, but you're watching somebody else do their job so that you can learn. Why would anybody pay for that? I understand that people need to make a living, but
You gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
What do you think about people paying for apprenticeship?
like the apprentice paying to be there,
Yeah.
I think that's great.
I think it's fucking great. People pay to go to school.
I think the perfect scenario would be the apprentice comes in, pays for like an education course from the mentor. Like Jess would pay you X amount of dollars that you deem is worthy of the knowledge that you're going to give her. And then just do education for however long you think it's supposed to be. Let's say a month, 2 months, whatever it is. And then all she does is comes in and watches you. That's it. Doesn't do any work, just comes in. She pays for the education for you to teach her what you're doing, watch what I'm doing. Same thing as like people are doing, like, oh, I'm throwing a seminar. Come watch me tattoo this client for $1,500 a day. And then she comes in, watches you, asks questions, learns whatever you have to offer her. And then once you think that she has all the knowledge, then the practical part of the apprenticeship comes in, where now she's tattooing her friends. She could either do them for free for a first couple and then charge a little amount, and then she can get paid from that. And that's how she's making her money. Still obviously giving a percentage to the shop.
I think that sounds fair. And if you
Yeah.
have money to pay, then you better work it off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
That way, like there's no expectations of, oh, well, I have to come to the shop and sweep the floors. Like that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to learn. All right. So then pay to learn. Come in and sit down and just learn. That's all you're going to do, but you're going to have to pay for that.
Do you think that takes away from earning it?
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, my apprenticeship was pretty easy also. I didn't really have to earn it. I mean, I had to scrub tubes. I swept the floors, but like I didn't get hazed. I didn't have to do any kind of obnoxious stuff like go running and doing like my boss's laundry or anything like that. Like it wasn't like that. So I don't necessarily feel like earning it means much. I understand why some people think that, but I think if you're paying for it, I think you're earning it. That's what I think. Whether you're paying for it in cash or working for it.
I think the people that get mad at that, it's the people that kind of had to go through that really terrible hazing process and they feel like other people should go through the same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily right.
No, just because you went through it doesn't make somebody else go through it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we're at a point right now where all the old school stuff is too far old school.
It's too far.
It's not relevant anymore.
No.
Because think about how many people who are teaching apprentices now, they probably, what did you say? You've been 10 years, 12 years?
Yeah.
And you had an easy apprenticeship or was it rough?
Pretty basic.
Pretty basic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as we get further along, like the mentors are going to have easier apprenticeships. So they're going to be easier on their apprentices.
That makes sense. People are just nicer overall and more welcoming and overall in the tattoo shops than they were back in the day. I mean, just hearing the stories from Adam of like, of like a rough tattoo shop was like, and it's like, oh, can I do this for cheaper? We're going to throw you down the stairs. Or even asking a question like that. Get out of here. Like that's pretty wild. Now it's always like people are just nice.
I think you have to be. There's too many opportunities for somebody to be like, all right, well, fuck you. I'm going to go to the
I'm
next
going to
guy.
go to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like, you're an asshole.
Yeah. Well, that's, when Adam was sharing his story of like, he named like, oh, there were like 6 shops in New York. And I was like, God damn, could you imagine that?
Only 6.
Like 6 shops. Like from here to Long Island. Like he named like 6 people. Like, oh, these were the shops. And like, oh shit.
Sounds awesome.
It kind
There's
of
probably
does sound
6
awesome.
shops within like a 6-block radius of a year.
Yeah. And a lot of them are really good.
Yeah.
With good artists.
Yeah. The competition is no joke now. That's what I'm saying. I think that for you to be a dick of a mentor at this point, it just looks bad on you. I don't know if you're protecting anybody.
You're not. I feel like the tattoo industry is not a closed industry anymore. People get on anything, get the information they want. So if you want to grow your business through an apprenticeship, be fucking nice. Be nice. You don't got to be a dick about it.
You've tattooed yourself.
Yeah, I did.
How'd that go?
It was
How did it heal?
Oh, I can show you.
Yeah.
You want me to show you now?
Don't have to.
Okay, well, I took a picture of it. I can
Okay.
send it to you guys.
Yeah.
But
cool.
it healed pretty well. It fell out on like a couple of spots on the black. I think I went too hard and it kind of fell out. But the most of it healed really nicely.
Was that the first real skin that you've tattooed?
Technically, as an apprentice, I got like an Amazon kit. One of my friends got me an Amazon kit and my friends kind of like bullied me into doing it. And
You tattoo me right
exactly. But like it was like the push I needed, to be honest, though. Like I was scared and I probably would have never tried. And that kind of pushed me to like have that hunger to want more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I did like, it's below the lips, actually, my first tattoo on myself. I did like these like 3 peas in a pod and it's me and my friends.
Cool.
And it's so bad. It's so janky, but like seeing it compared to the lips, it's like, holy shit. Like,
So what would you say to the people who are looking to learn how to tattoo? Would you recommend tattooing yourself?
I definitely would, because I feel like you can only trust someone as much as they trust themselves, you know? Like,
Yeah.
If I trust myself to tattoo me, like I'm hoping someone else would trust me.
Right. Do you think that you've learned any more or less tattooing yourself than tattooing your clients?
Probably more, because you can actually feel it at the same time. Like you don't really feel it on the client. So like sometimes I wasn't going deep enough and I could kind of feel that it was kind of easier in those spots. And I was like, oh shit, I got to go a little deeper.
And are those the spots that fell out?
No, actually it's the ones that I kind of overworked to think that like this needs to be really black. So I'm going to go over it a couple times, and that's where it kind of fell out.
Yeah, it's important, I think. I've never tattooed myself, but I think just the theory of it is important to know what you did, watch how it heals, and you see the whole progress of it.
Yeah, like the middle of it, I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Like,
How long did it take you to finish it?
oh God.
It was a while.
It was like 6 hours and I wasn't even like taking a break. I was like so determined, and Dan was like, you need french fries. I was like, okay.
Well, shit. If I think the last thing would be any recommendations for today.
Or for people out there trying to get an apprenticeship.
Anything.
Any advice?
Man, I'm going to give a recommendation, and it has nothing to do with tattooing at all. I got to pull up this name, though, because I forgot it already.
All right.
Somebody go ahead while I'm looking for this.
Okay, I'll start off. If you want to listen to some good music, listen to some yacht rock on iTunes. Just play that playlist. Enjoy yourself. So good.
Who's your favorite band or musician out of that genre?
Out of that genre, oh man, there's so many really good ones, but I think it's Ambrosia. It's like it's from the 70s and 80s. It's really good.
Harry Mack.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, he does freestyle raps for just people on the street, or like he'll go on Omegle and he's like, oh, give me a couple of random words, and he'll just rap for it. But the kicker is that whenever you hear anybody do that, it's like, oh, give me one word, and he'll do like a 30-second freestyle. This guy's like, give me 6 words, the most outrageous things, and he'll go on for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And,
And it's like flawless.
flawless, dude. And then
Seamless.
so he'll not only use the words that these people gave them,
Yeah.
but then he'll talk about like their clothes, the shit that's going on in the
Oh,
background.
I think I've seen that guy on like either
Incredible.
Union Square or like Washington Square Park,
Yeah.
like doing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
He's incredible.
Yeah, super good.
All right, you guys got anything that you recommend? You saw, read, watched?
Like to share.
Oh,
What are
you
listening to right
actually
now?
got me into that band. I can't say it. Polyphia?
Oh yeah,
It's so
they're
good.
pretty good.
So good. I usually don't listen to things without words. And I was like,
It's like all I
ooh,
listen to.
it's so nice. It like makes you focus.
This is my imitation of one of those bands. Yeah.
Yeah, they're good. Anybody play an instrument? You play guitar or anything?
I wish.
No.
You play guitar.
I try to play.
I'd quit tattooing and start learning how to do drums.
I was gonna say, let's start a tattoo band.
Instead of tap band.
Tat band. I want to do a tat fantasy football league.
Yeah, we should do that actually.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And I know you just got your taste on some betting.
Yeah, betting's fun, man. That was exciting.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Start a football league.
For tattooers?
You gotta
Yeah,
wait,
fantasy football
you
league.
gotta wait until
Oh,
August.
man, that's funny.
Damn it. So long.
All right. Bolivia.
Alrighty.
Anything else? You got any recommendations? Anything?
As far as music goes, I've been listening to Zach Bryan lately. I
Okay.
like him a lot.
Cool.
Zach Bryan's good.
I don't know who that is. Who's that?
You remember the
Country.
country song that I played and I showed you the music video where it's like dude playing pool? Damn it. Of course. Of course. G Money, nothing?
On a blank today, boys.
All right.
Yeah.
Got nothing.
You got nothing.
I got nothing.
Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in this week, hanging out with us again.
If you want to help support the show, I feel like this is where you're
Yeah.
going, right? Head over to patreon.com/honest tattooer. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to set up an extra tier, an extra level. We've got 3 right now and they're spaced out kind of awkwardly.
Yeah.
As far as the pricing goes. So I think I'm going to add another one to kind of go in between some of them, which may or may not affect the prices that are now the way that they're set up. I don't know. But if you do want to help support the show, patreon.com/honest tattooer, sign up to be a Patreon supporter. I try as often as I can to put some content either from before the show or some stuff in the show that maybe didn't quite make the cut as additional stuff that you can only see on Patreon. So if you want to see the exclusive material, you can check it out.
Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.